Blog Talk Radio.
በስመ አብ ወወልድ ወመንፈስ ቅዱስ አሐዱ አምላክ የእሁድ on Sundays, the first day, እሁድ እውነትን የሚያደርግ ሁሉ ሰንበትንም የሚያከብር ጻድቅ ነው። ወደ እግዚአብሔር የተመለሰ መጻተኛ ከሕዝቡ ይለየኝ ይሆንን አይበል። እውነትን የሚያደርግ ሁሉ ሰንበትንም የሚያከብር ጻድቅ ነው። Righteous is he who does truth and honors and glories and celebrates the Sabbath. May he not question whether he will be outcast from the multitudes if he was to repent to Exavier, to the Sustainer, and enter into the worship of Elohim. Righteous is he who does truth and honors and celebrates and glories in the Shabbat.
Psalm 92. It is a good thing to give thanks unto the Lord and to sing praises unto thy name, O Most High, to show forth thy loving kindness in the morning and thy faithfulness every night, upon an instrument of 10 strings and upon the psaltery, upon the harp with a solemn sound. For thou, Lord, hast made me glad through thy work. I will triumph in the works of thy hands. O Lord, how great are thy works, and thy thoughts are very deep. A brutish man knoweth not, neither doth a fool understand this. When the wicked spring as the grass, and when all the workers of iniquity do flourish, it is that they shall be destroyed forever. But thou, Lord, art most high forevermore. For lo, thine enemies, O Lord, for lo, thine enemies shall perish. All the workers of iniquity shall be scattered. But my horn shalt thou exalt like the horn of an unicorn. I shall be anointed with fresh oil. Mine eye also shall see my desire on mine enemies, and mine ears shall hear my desire of the wicked that rise up against me. The righteous shall flourish like the palm tree. He shall grow like a cedar in Lebanon. Those that be planted in the house of the Lord shall flourish in the courts of our God. They shall still bring forth fruit in old age. They shall be fat and flourishing, to show that the Lord is upright. He is my rock, and there is no unrighteousness, no unrighteousness. Shabbat Shalom.
Wherefore the children of Israel shall keep the Sabbath, to observe HaShabbat throughout their generations, a perpetual covenant. It a sign between me and the children of Israel, the children of Israel forever. For 6 days Yahweh Jehovah made Hashemayim, the heavens, and earth, and the earthly plane. And on the 7th day he rested and was refreshed. Beni u ven Bnei Yisrael oti le'olam ki shesheta yamim asah Yahweh et hashemayim ve'et haaretz vayom hashvi'i shavat vayinafash. It is a sign between I and the sons of Yisrael. Beini uvein bnei Yisrael. Ot he, she is a sign. Ot he. Beini uvein bnei Yisrael. Ot he le'olam. For she is a sign between I and the children of Yisrael le'olam, for I le'olam. Ki shesheta yamim asah Yahweh, for in 6 days. Ki shesheta yamim, he who be made asah Yahweh, Jehovah made Eta Hashemayim, the heavens, Eta Haaretz, and the earth and the earthly plane, Uvayom HaShavi'i, and on the 7th day, Ubayom HaShavi'i, Shavata Vayinafash, he ceased from work. Shabbat, Wayinafash, and rested. He rested and was refreshed. Shabbat, Wayinafash. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom again. Shalom Chaverim. Here we have today's daily psalm. We have psalm time according to the royal horde of Ethiopian.
Psalm 35.
מזמור למ"ה לדוד, 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 לדוד. ריבה אדוני את יריבי, 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 יריבי.
Plead my cause, O Lord, with them that strive with me. That strive with me. That strive with me. That strive with me. That strive with me.
לחם את לוחמי, 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 לוחמי.
Fight against them that fight against me. Fight against me. Fight against me. Fight against me.
החזק מגן וצינה, וצינה, וצינה.
Take hold of shield and buckler, and buckler, and buckler.
וקומה, קומה, קומה.
And stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up.
בעזרתי, בעזרתי, בעזרתי.
For mine help, for mine help, for mine help, for mine help.
והרק חנית וסגור לקראת רודפי, 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 רודפי.
Draw out also the spear and stop the way against them that persecute me. Persecute them, that 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 persecute them. Say unto my soul, I am thy salvation, thy salvation, thy salvation, thy salvation, thy salvation, thy salvation, thy salvation.
אמור לנפשי ישועתך אני, 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 אני.
Say unto my soul, I am thy salvation, thy salvation, thy salvation, thy salvation, thy salvation, thy salvation. Let them be confounded and put to shame that seek after my soul. Let them be turned back and brought to confusion that devise my hurt. Let them be as chaff before the wind, and let the angel of the Lord chase them. Let their way be dark and slippery, and let the angel of the Lord persecute them. For without cause have they hid for me their net in a pit, which without cause they have digged for my soul. Let destruction come upon him at unawares, and let his net that he hath hid catch himself. Into that very destruction let him fall. And my soul shall be joyful in the Lord. It shall rejoice in his salvation. All my bones shall say, Lord, who is like unto thee, which deliverest the poor from him that is too strong for him, yea, the poor and the needy from him that spoileth him? False witnesses did rise up. They laid to my charge things I knew not. They rewarded me evil for good, to the spoiling of my soul. But as for me, when they were sick, my clothing was sackcloth. I humbled my soul with fasting, and my prayer returned into mine own bosom. I behaved myself as though he had been my friend or brother. I bowed down heavily as one that mourneth for his mother. But in mine adversity they rejoiced and gathered themselves together. Yea, the abjects gathered themselves together against me, and I knew it not. They did tear me and ceased not. With hypocritical mockers and feasts they gnashed upon me with their teeth. Lord, how long wilt thou look on? Rescue my soul from their destructions, my darling from the lions. I will give thee thanks in the great congregation. I will praise thee among much people. Let not them that are mine enemies wrongfully rejoice over me, neither let them wink with the eye that hate me without a cause. For they speak not peace, but they devise deceitful matters against them that are quiet in the land. Yea, they opened their mouth wide against me and said, Aha, aha, our eye hath seen it. This thou hast seen, O Lord. Keep not silence. O Lord, be not far from me. Stir up thyself, and awake to my judgment, even unto my cause, my God and my Lord. Judge me, O Lord my God, according to thy righteousness, and let them not rejoice over me. Let them not say in their hearts, Ah, so would we have it. Let them not say, We have swallowed him up. Let them be ashamed and brought to confusion together that rejoice at mine hurt. Let them be clothed with shame and dishonor that magnify themselves against me. Let them shout for joy and be glad that favor my righteous cause. Yea, let them say continually, Let the Lord be magnified, which hath pleasure in the prosperity of his servant. And my tongue shall speak of thy righteousness and of thy praise all the day long, 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 all the day long.
Sun a shine, your sight afar. Up in a tomb and dead no walk. Something so cool, the sky no talk. Sitting up in a me holy ark. Riding up in a the scrolls apart. Giving us all a older chat. Living is just a counterpart. In a me tune, me fight a war. Sun a shine, your sight afar. Up in a tomb and dead no walk. Something so cool, the sky no talk. Sitting up in a me holy ark. Riding up in a the scrolls apart. Giving us all a older chat. Living is just a counterpart. Use a school go kill the class. Pills you fill them with so fast. Skills you give no really last. Tell the people about a cross. Who if you take the picture off. Open scripture, read the Psalms. Jesse David Solomon, you get the lecture Babylon. For the herb no murder one like herbs or even serves a bomb. Selassie words that keep me strong. All the words to he belong. Not to they grow to me belong. Africa road me need me land. No sell, no soul, no please, no job. 7 the gold, the covenant. In a me tune, me fight a war. Sun a shine, your sight afar. Up in a tomb and dead no walk. Something so cool, the sky no talk. Sitting up in a me holy ark. Riding up in a the scrolls apart. Giving us all a older chat. Living is just a counterpart. In a me tune, me fight a war. Sun a shine, your sight afar. Up in a tomb and dead no walk. Something so cool, the sky no talk. Sitting up in a me holy ark. Riding up in a the scrolls apart. Giving us all a older chat. Living is just a counterpart. Living a New Jerusalem. Not even afraid of Bukaram. Ganja fill my Ukaram. Vatican a dirty one. Cause in a me dream me reach a star. Nothing for teach so preach a guan. Sit down in a me beach afar. The water deep, the beat a fat. Corporeal release was master tutorials. Me teach a class. 7 a task each a pass. Socrates, not even thoughts, no Rome, no Greece, no Peter Pan, no John the Christ and Easter born. How you eat the Easter bun around the feast and beast a come. And bring me tune, me fight a war. Sun a shine, your sight afar. Up in a tomb and dead no walk. Something so cool, this kind of talk. Sitting up in a me holy ark. Riding up in a the scrolls apart. Giving us all a older chat. Living is just a counterpart. Bring me tune, me fight a war. Sun a shine, your sight afar. Up in a tomb and dead no walk. Something so cool, this kind of talk. Sitting up in a me holy ark. Riding up in a the scrolls apart. Giving us all a older chat. Living is just a counterpart. Must be deep with beats. I drum for months to weeks. The heat a bun. Sun release a piece of gun. No drum, no creep around for fun. Looking around a purge of some. Youths a town a splurge around. Drink around, go murder young. Older people learn me song. Now go ease the journey long. Over evil good belong. Rasta reason out a plan. And ganja season pounds and grand police. Wa beat the youths for ban. Wap on streets a smoke my cran. Me tune me fight a war. Sun a shine your sight afar. Up in a tomb and dead no walk. Something so cool this kind of talk. Sitting up in a me holy ark. Riding up in a the scrolls apart. Giving us all a older chat. Living is just a counterpart. In a me tune me fight a war. Sun a shine your sight afar. Up in a tomb and dead no walk. Something so cool this kind of talk. Sitting up in a me holy ark. Riding up in a the scrolls apart. Giving us all a older chat. Living is just a counterpart. 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 Counterpart.
Then the Kahin, the priest, shall take the host with his wet hand, and passing his hand over, and upon it shall say, from Psalm 27, verses 8 and 9, I sought thy face, thy face, O Jah. Will I seek, hide not thy face from eye, put not the eye servant away in anger. The eye has been I, and I help. Leave I not, neither forsake I and I. O Elohai, Hailai, the power of my Yeshua, of my salvation. Sabbatical study, this I Rastafari sabbatical study for this Shabbat Strong. Shabbat Shalom, Chaverim, Shalom. All right, Hebrew first words here for the Kaf Chet 28, weekly Torah portion reading and feeding, and a yearly cycle sabbatical studies. Right, for this Rastafari Shabbat Strong. Here we pick up with the Yod Dalet chapter, third book of Moshe, Hebrew book that's called Leviticus. Here we have Sefer Vayikra, Leviticus, third book of Moshe, known as Leviticus chapter 14, the Yod Dalet chapter, Hebrew first words here for this 28th weekly Torah portion reading and feeding. Here we have Vayidaberi Yahuwah el Moshe Leimor, and the Yahweh, he who be, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruch Hashem, the Holy One, blessed be He, blessed be the name, spoke to Moses. Vaydaber Yahuwah, Vaydaber Yahweh el Moshe Leimor, Zot Tihyeh Torah. This is she. This is the law. Tihyeh Torah HaMitzorah of the leper B'yom in the day Taharato in the day of his cleansing with Huba Il HaKohen, and he shall be brought to HaKohen, and he shall be brought to the priest. Hebrew first words here for this 28th sabbatical study, for this Shabbat Strong. Mitzorah, HaMitzorah, the leper.
Hebrew first words. Wa'itabaria wa'il Moshe lemor zota tihye Torat ha-mitzorah b'yom ata ha'arato v'huba el ha-kohen. Sabbatical study, this I Rastafari sabbatical study for this Shabbat strong.
Stirring blood. King Pharaoh's plague is eating up your weed. Your scientists can't help you.
Yes, Pharaoh's plagues. Interesting. Here we have מצורע, and here Shabbat HaGadol, the great Sabbath, Shalom, the Shabbat. Here we're at the Shabbat, the Sabbath before Pesach. Of course, this is the After Shabbat podcast right here on the Ear and the Irid, but here, Shabbat HaGadol, the great Sabbath the Sabbath that immediately precedes the feast, the festival of Pesach. Now, Passover, although if we read it, we have like the Passover, the 8 days, but in full, it's a month-long celebration right here. Of course, there's the intermediate days, where, some regular works can do go on, but there's some, highlights of it, especially for I and Moshiach, Yeshua. But here, the Shabbat that immediately precedes the feast, the festival, the Moed. Moed. What is Moed? Moed is an appointment. Moed can be an appointment of time, of place, of space. This word also was Psalm 74. Yeah, slicha if I'm wrong, but Psalm 74. It's the one that says about how they burn up all the synagogues in the land. The Moed, and the tent of meeting is known as the Ohel Moed, the tent of meeting, sometimes translated as the tabernacle of the congregation, I think in the English, the tabernacle of the congregation. More correctly, the tent of the meeting or the tent of the appointment. So Moed also refers to that, but in Leviticus and elsewhere in HaTorah, we have Moed in the singular sense and the Moedim. So here in Abib, the first month of the Hebrew, we could say the holy year, the Israelite, the holy year. He says this month, this moon shall be the Rosh Chodashim, the beginning of months, the beginning of moons to you, the beginning of the season. So here going forward for at least 7 months, because when we come to the 7th month, we come to what HaTorah says is the end of the year. Some will say, oh, you can't have 2 new years. So for some, but it's very clear that when we come to the 7th month, in the cycle of time, proper timekeeping, it's not what ones would usually refer to as a year, but the 7th month seals up these feasts and festivals, the appointments, the appointments, or we refer to sometimes as the ecclesiastical in the sense of the kahal, the kahila, New Covenant sense, the church, called out assembly. So we have the Hebrew, the high holy year, or the time period over the 7 months. And there are 7 feasts and 7 festivals that occur in 3 seasons. Or we find HaTorah says that 3 times in the year shall all the males of Yisrael appear in the place that he chooses to set the Hashem, set his name there. So here we have the Shabbat HaGadol, the great Sabbath, the big Sabbath, the great Sabbath right here.
So looking at the time and the season, the Pesach, Passover season, to bring it into so-called Gregorian terms, so we can at least better, see where we're at if we choose to observe. So putting in these terms, we have in this year, April 22nd, then we have the 8 days, 22nd to the 30th, which corresponds, from the Hebrew, from HaTorah, from the 15th to 22nd of the moon of the month. Get into some of those details as we move forward. But right here we have a Torah portion, reading and feeding, a little bit more on the Pesach as we come closer to that time. So we're basically looking at what is called the Monday, here in this season according to the lunar solar calendar. So from Abib 15th, calculating from the lunar solar calendar and the month of Abib 15th to 22nd, which corresponds in this year, this season, to the Gregorian 22nd of April to the 30th. But it's basically a month long. The holiday or the season of Pesach, which represents the first of the three times. Let's get into a little bit more detail here, but we have a psalm here to ride up with here in the season, Psalm 35, right here, in this season, at this time, this year. But here, this is standing information, Pesach, the season of Pesach. So Pesach directly, it refers to that Passover, the Passover Eve, and in its first manifestation, the ideal manifestation to the Exodus of the Ha'Ibrim, or the Hebrews, also known as the Beit Yisrael, Israel, his son, out of Mitzrayim, out of the two lands, out of Tawi, what is referred to as ancient Egypt. So elsewhere in the Torah, it says 3 times in a year, right? So we have to understand this correctly. There's 7 feasts, 7 festivals, so 7 festivals through the year, or the holy year, which is directly about 7 months. So how do they occur? Well, they occur in a 3-1-3 kind of a pattern. In other words, here at the beginning, 3. There are 3, you say, appointments that occur in this appointment. 3 of the feasts, let's say feasts that occur at this time. And this is the Pesach, right, season, or Passover season. We have Passover, we have unleavened bread, right, as well as we have the first fruits, right, right? So the holiday of Passover is actually a month-long, a moon-long celebration, with, of course, the key times, and then we have, other time where we can, the intermediate times we can go about our work or regular occupational labor. But as HaTorah says, there are those Shabbats, where servile labor for the faithful who seek to keep and are able to keep is suspended. So over and over, Pesach, right, is referred to as, like this time, the month of spring, or the Chodesh HaAbib. Chodesh, right, the month, the moon, or the renewed time according to the clock, so we have the sun, moon, and stars, but according to the clock, the moon here, we have the Chodesh, right, the month HaAbib. Abib, remember Abib, the month is Abib. We spoke about that previously, springtime, Abib, Abebe in the Amharic, to flower, and Abeba, a flower, in the Hebrew Abib, and the Tel Abib. But the month of spring, the springtime, with the barley harvest, the month of redemption from HaTorah, right, within the holy, it's known as the month of redemption, right? Also referred to after the Babylonian exile by Ha-Yehudim, the Judeans, as the month of Nisan. But in HaTorah, we have it as Abib. But even with the name after the Babylonian exile, right, of Nisan, right, the word Nisan, some say, may come from or related to the Hebrew word Nitzan. So it's Nisan, but then in looking at it, we have Nitzan, which means to bud, right? To bud. You find that in the Hebrew of Song of Songs, Shir HaSharim, Song of Solomon, of Shlomo, 2 and 12, the bud, which is the Nitzan. Or some link the word Nisan, the post-Babylonian name for the month, with the Hebrew word Nisim. Nisim, hail up to Nisim Black, Nisim X, Nisim. What does Nisim mean, Chaverim? It means miracles. Nisim, miracles. Both of these suggest a physical, a phi cycle, a earthly, a natural, as well as a spiritual, soul, psychological, psycho-spiritual resurrection in our lives, the physical and the spiritual resurrection in our lives. Now, others reason on the word, and they say, well, Nisan, right, may be related to the Hebrew word nous, or some might choose to say nawas, from the primary letters nun, waw, and samech, or nous, which means to flee, nous, to flee. Both of these is in relation to Yisrael, right? According to HaTorah, Yah's son, say, called my son out of Mitzrayim, right? We have Israel's flight from Mitzrayim, from the two lands called ancient Egypt, called Egypt. And Egypt, Mitzrayim, the two lands flight from Yisrael. Now, how is this? The flight from Egypt, you want to say, yeah, they can see it in the scripts. What was Egypt's flight from Yisrael? Well, when the pursuing Mitzrayim, right, ancient Egyptian army, the cavalry, right, the cavalry, right, when they fled, right, Nisim, right, before the sea closed upon them. That was that miracle right there that we have articulated and referenced in Exodus chapter 14, verses 25 and 27. Now, we also see the usage, right, this usage in another verse in Proverbs 28 and 1. The wicked flee, nasu, they flee, nasu, when no one pursues. But the righteous are bold as a lion. Aryeh. Now, Hasatan, the adversary and the adversarial power is found in the lie or the deception. If he can make you afraid, you won't think clearly. Establishing your faith, the emunah, your admittance, your amen, your emunah in the emet, in the truth, will embolden you to deal with the lies, with the deception, distortions that are intended. These lies, deception, and distortions are intended to enslave you in fear and phobia, right? False evidence appearing real. As Adon Yeshua, right? As the master, the boss Yeshua said, the truth will set you free. In Yohanan, John chapter 8, verse 32. So note that the three spring festivals, or the three festivals, right, the Mo'adim that occur in the spring, they occur in the month, in the Torah of Abib, also known in latter-day times as Nisan, and they overlap, and they run into each other. You know, it's almost like a kind of baton, like, you know, those marathon, you pass the baton, so to speak, you know, how they run into each other, connect. We have Pesach, Passover. Then we have the Chag HaMatzot, right, unleavened bread, right? Then we have the Yom HaBikurim, the Bikurim, or the first fruits. The fourth and the climatic spring festival, right, is Shavuot, which is known as Pentecost in the New Testament, or called the Feast of Weeks, right? As Shavuot or Shavuot, we say Shavuot, the week Tov, but here we have Shavuot, which is weeks. This is why it's referred to as the Feast of Weeks, you know, because it's those 7 weeks plus 1 day, 50 days, known as Pentecost Day. Now, so we have Shavuot. It is held exactly 7 weeks or 50 days following the morning after Pesach. So in general, the spring holy days, feasts, festivals, appointments, they portray or they illustrate the death, the burial, and the resurrection of HaMoshiach. Ha'adon was crucified on the Erev Pesach, the Erev Pesach, Erev, the eve of Pesach. What's interesting, I think this is where we get the confusion, or where the confusion comes down to us from previous generations of the whole Good Friday thing. Because when we say like the Erev, Erev of the Shabbat, the Erev is the eve of the Shabbat, right? And the eve of the Shabbat, the annual usual Shabbat, is what people will call a Friday evening. That's what we prepare, the TJIF and other things. We do that in light of that truth right there. But then with Pesach, Passover, and other holy days and seasons in Yah's order, it's that eve that's important. So we have the regular Erev. So when they say like Good Friday, what they got confused with is the usual annual Shabbat and the Erev of the Shabbat, which is Friday evening when the sun is going down. That's when we prepare, and that's when we get together for the Seder and the Sup and preparing for the Shabbat day. And know ye not that there's 12 hours in the day. So it's not that we're counting the night. This is another confusion in their seeking to change, times and laws. So we have the Erev of Pesach. So we have Passover, but it's that eve, the Erev, right? So it's a good eve, Erev Tov, because the day is a Yom Tov, a day Tov, a good day. Just like with the Friday evening, which is the Erev of Shabbat, what do we say? We say Erev Tov, right? Because the day, the Shabbat day, is a Yom Tov. It is a good day. So those good days are those appointed days, those appointments, right? So Ha'adon Yeshua was crucified on the Erev Pesach, on the eve of Pesach, right? That preparation time leading into that, we could say, into that time, right? Buried during the Hag HaMotzi, right? The Feast of the Unleavened Bread. Hag the Motzi, right? And was resurrected on Yom HaBikurim, which was in that year, that season, that time, right? The first day of the Shabuah, and 3 days, right? That Shabbat, right, after Pesach, right? What is that Shabbat after Pesach, right? We have the 3rd day, and then we have the 1st day. So basically, he kept his word, 3 days, 3 nights. Now, when you use the whole Good Friday, as it has been misunderstood over the, over the recent ages, you don't get 3 days. You from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It's because you say, well, Sunday is the 3rd day, but he was already up before the even day came in fully. It doesn't make sense there. But if you look at it in truth, he was crucified in the middle of the week, which is the 4th day that we would call Wednesday, right? And by time the Sabbath, by time the Pesach was coming in, that was what we would call Thursday, right? That's why Joseph of Arimathea made haste to get a habeas corpus, to get the body, right? So it can be, entombed, right? So by time we could say the proverbial sunlight went down on the middle of the week, the 4th day of the week, known as Wednesday today, right? Yeshua was already in the tomb, in the belly, you could say the belly of the earth, and those other Hebrew idiomatic ways of expressing the essential idea. And they went forth to eat the Passover by the evening time. So that's the connection right there with Yeshua crucified on the Erev Pesach. He was buried on the Hag HaMotzi. By time that next day coming in, that's 1st day of the unleavened bread, and then was resurrected 3 days later from Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then we have the 1st day resurrection, which corresponded with, the Yom HaBikurim, because it says the morrow after the Shabbat. All right, so you check the weekly Shabbat, the morrow after the 1st day. All right, so Shavuot, speaking about Shavuot, or Shavuot weeks, was the day that the Ruach HaKadosh fell, right, or came upon, right, the followers, the disciples and the followers of Ha'adon, Adonai Yeshua, in fulfillment of the promise that was given by Adonai, right, by our Adon, our Lord, our Master, our Boss, our Sovereign, right? So this now leads us right here in the prep, the preparation of our hearts and minds right here. We'll go through a little bit more detail, but of course we have to segue, at a particular point we're going to have to segue into the Mitzorah. And the Mitzorah is also very, 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 very interesting, the cleansing of the leper, and also seeing the foreshadowing, right? The foreshadowing of that within that fulfillment in the Moshiach, Yeshua. But here, and then also touching on the leprosy and, the plague and how that connects with Mitzrayim as well, and even the spiritual applications thereof. But right here, we have a psalm, and the psalm also has great interest, Psalm 35. It's almost like a Torah. It's a Torah lawsuit, right? Since Torah, the law, right, as it's called, though the actual meaning of its instructions, but within that we do have judgments and where one can make suits. So right here, today's daily psalm, Habarim. Shalom, Habarim. Here we have today's daily psalm. We have Psalm.
Psalm 35. Plead my cause, O Lord, with them that strive with me. Fight against them that fight against me. Take hold of shield and buckler, and stand up for mine help. Draw out also the spear, and stop the way against them that persecute me. Say unto my soul, I am thy salvation. Let them be confounded and put to shame that seek after my soul. Let them be turned back and brought to confusion that devise my hurt. Let them be as chaff before the wind, and let the angel of the Lord chase them. Let their way be dark and slippery, and let the angel of the Lord persecute them. For without cause have they hid for me their net in a pit, which without cause they have digged for my soul. Let destruction come upon him at unawares, and let his net that he hath hid catch himself. Into that very destruction let him fall. And my soul shall be joyful in the Lord. It shall rejoice in his salvation. All my bones shall say, Lord, who is like unto thee, which deliverest the poor from him that is too strong for him, yea, the poor and the needy from him that spoileth him. False witnesses did rise up. They laid to my charge things I knew not. They rewarded me evil for good, to the spoiling of my soul. But as for me, when they were sick, my clothing was sackcloth. I humbled my soul with fasting, and my prayer returned into mine own bosom. I behaved myself as though he had been my friend or brother. I bowed down heavily as one that mourneth for his mother. But in mine adversity they rejoiced and gathered themselves together. Yea, the abjects gathered themselves together against me, and I knew it not. They did tear me and ceased not. With hypocritical mockers and feasts they gnashed upon me with their teeth. Lord, how long wilt thou look on? Rescue my soul from their destructions, my darling from the lions. I will give thee thanks in the great congregation. I will praise thee among much people. Let not them that are mine enemies wrongfully rejoice over me, neither let them wink with the eye that hate me without a cause. For they speak not peace, but they devise deceitful matters against them that are quiet in the land. Yea, they opened their mouth wide against me and said, Aha, aha, our eye hath seen it. This thou hast seen, O Lord. Keep not silence. O Lord, be not far from me. Stir up thyself, and awake to my judgment, even unto my cause, my God and my Lord. Judge me, O Lord my God, according to thy righteousness, and let them not rejoice over me. Let them not say in their hearts, Ah, so would we have it. Let them not say, We have swallowed him up. Let them be ashamed and brought to confusion together that rejoice at mine hurt. Let them be clothed with shame and dishonor that magnify themselves against me. Let them shout for joy and be glad that favor my righteous cause. Yea, let them say continually, let the Lord be magnified, which hath pleasure in the prosperity of his servant. And my tongue shall speak of thy righteousness and of thy praise all the day long, 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 all the day long.
Mizmor Lamed Hey. Mizmor Lamed Hey. Psalm XXXV from the Sefer Tehillim, Psalm 35. Mizmor Lamed Hey. Prayer under persecution. Le Dawid of David. This psalm should be compared with VII, Psalm 7, and XXII, Psalm 22. This psalm, today's daily psalm, according to the royal order of the Ethiopian Hebrews, and here, after the order of Malachias Tzedek, we have Mizmor Lamed Hey, Psalm 35, which should be compared with Psalm 7 and Psalm 22. It is a cry of distress from David, le David, when he was being hunted by Saul. Now, resemblances have been noted with the language of the book of Yirmiyahu, Jeremiah, Ermias, in which the prophet also cries out in his affliction. Like circumstances may well account for the similarity, or the prophet may have been acquainted with the Mizmor, even today's Mizmor Lamed Hey, Psalm XXXV, Psalm 35, and used its phraseology. So today's daily psalm, Mizmor Lamed Hey, Psalm 35, Psalm XXXV from the Sefer Tehillim, the Psalter, prayer under persecution. The opening 10 verses is the appeal for help. Le Dawid, superscription of David, implication a psalm, Mizmor le Dawid. Le Dawid, Riva Yahweh eta Yirevai, Leham eta Lochemai, plead, O Yahweh, Riva Yahweh, plead my cause, O he who be, we be, with them that plead, strive with I. Riva Yahweh eta Yirevai. Strive, O Yahweh, O he who be, we be, Adonai, with them that strive against I. Lecham eta lochmai. Fight. Lecham. Fight against them that fight against I. Lecham eta lochmai. First verse right here, plead or strive. Riba, Yahweh, Riba. Plead, O Yahweh, strive. Plead, O Hashem, with them that plead against I. Riba, Yahweh, eta Yirevai. The phrase, it suggests a suit in a court of law, where the defendant calls upon an advocate to defend him against his accusers. Underlying the struggle between Saul and David was and is, will be, a moral issue. The wanton persecution of the innocent man. If Ha-Elohim, the true good, the true God, were to decide it, the outcome of the campaign would soon be made evident. Thus, this first verse right here in the opening appeal for help. Le Dawid, Riba Yahweh eta Yirevai, Lecham eta Lochemai. The Aleph verse. The Beit verse. Ha Chezek Magain Withinna Wikuma Be'ezrati. Take hold of shield and buckler, and stand up for mine help. Take hold. Ha chezek, magen, with sina. He chazek, take hold. He chazek, a magen of shield. of shield with sina. Take hold of shield and buckler. Ha chezeka magin with sina. With kuma bi ezrati. With kuma bi ezrati. And rise up with kuma, with and kuma, rise, bi azrati, for my help, and rise up, and stand up, get up, stand up, rise up, with kuma, bi azrati. The shield and buckler, the magain with sina. The Magain and the Sina. Magain with Sina. More of this can be found in Psalm 5, roughly around verse 13. Since his accusers have resorted to violence, he invokes Ha-Elohim. He invokes Jah as his champion in the fight. In the scriptures, Ha-Elohim, the true good, the true God, is named a man of war. We have this in the Exodus Psalm. We have this in Exodus chapter 15, verse 3. But he is only a man of war to help the weak against the ruthless strong. Thus we have this verse here, the second verse, the bait verse. Ha chezek magain with sina. Take hold. Ha chezek magain of shield with sina. The magain, the shield, and the buckler. With kuma and rise up, stand up, bit azrati, and stand up for azrati, in my help, for my help, in my help, and stand up and rise up in my defense, bit azrati, or for help, bit azrati. The Gimel verse, the third verse, with harek achenit usgora likraat rodfai. Amor li nafshi yishuatek hani. Amor li nafshi yishuatek hani. Draw out also the spear and stop the way against them that persecute and falsely prosecute I. Say to my soul, Amor linafshi, say to my soul, Amor linafshi, I, thy salvation, I, Yeshuatek, ani, say to my soul, thy salvation, I am thy salvation. Draw out, with harek, draw out also the spear, and the battle axe against them that pursue me. Say to my soul, I am thy salvation. Draw out with harek chanit, draw out the spear with harek chanit. The verb is used of drawing a sword from the scabbard. We have this in Exodus chapter 15, verse 9. Similarly, the spear, the chenit was kept in a holder from which it was taken when required, in the sense of drawing out a weapon from the holster. So what he says right here, with harek chenit, draw out also the spear. Usugor. Now, it's interesting here because in the Sefer Tehillim, coming from the more Hebrew direct translation, we have the Hebrew there as a witness, we have battle axe. In the KJV, it says, draw out also the spear. That's the first phrase. Then after the comma, it says, and stop. Then you see italicize the way, out of italics, against them that persecute me. So the real words there is, and stop against them that persecute me. Draw out also the spear, and stop against them that persecute and falsely prosecute, or against them that pursue, bringing it out even more, against them that pursue I. Usgor, likraata rodafai. You rodify the ones that pursue I. Now, the Hebrew may be the imperative of a verb. In other words, the sense of close up, what we have in the KJV, and stop, and stop. They add in the italicized words, the way, the sense of it, to stop, because the Hebrew may be the imperative, the command word. The command word, as we have usagor, and sagor, stop, close up. Hence, the authorized version, like the KJV, says stop the way. Some as Rashi and Ibn Ezra agree with that. Kimchi, he suggests that it was a noun. So others look at this word and see and sigor, the sigor, as actually being a noun and not the imperative of the verb, the commandment to stop, but actually a noun, something that stops something. And therefore, Kimchi and others suggest that it's a noun signifying an implement of war. And this view is now actually what is generally accepted. It was a view that wasn't so much generally accepted, but as one studied, they got to recognize that, yes, we can look at this as a imperative, a command, stop, draw out. Even when you say draw out, in the sense of draw out is a command. So, we're harek chenit, sigor, likraat, against them, or to meet them, likraat rodify, to meet them, against them, to meet those, rodify. I pursuers. Say to my soul, this is the key phrase here in the third verse, amor linafshi, amor, to say, the command, say to my soul, say to her, say to my suke, my nefesh here, lit nafshi, amor linafshi, say to my soul, amor linafshi, yeshu atech ani, and this right here is the language of he speaking to she, speaking to my soul, I psyche, I suke, saying to the soul, because the soul without instruction, in Yahweh, truth and life is headed for self-destruction. So saying to the soul, I am, he who be, she, I and I suke, I and I soul, salvation, amor linavshi, yeshuatech, ani. Give me the heartening, right? The heartening, to keep it heartical, that message, the message of salvation, that the I, he who be, will help me, will help her, help my soul, my psyche, to victory. And victory and salvation, Hebraically, is one and the same sense. So salvation is victory, victory is salvation, Hebraically speaking. So here, this can also be interpreted as say to my soul, amor linafshi, yeshuatech, ani, yeshuatech, your victory, saying to the soul, the psyche, your victory, ani, I be. So this psalm, to he who be my advocate, and also advocate for my soul, the victory, the salvation, the victory, even the victory of good over evil. So we have these three verses here in the appeal for help. Now, as we move this forward to the first section, which is the first 10 verses, but just getting a groundation even with the first 3 verses. Let them be confounded and put to shame that seek after my soul. Once again, bringing out the emphasis here of the soul. Right? What does it profit a man to gain the world and to lose his own soul? The emphasis of the soul and the defense of the soul. Plead my cause. Strive with those who strive against I. Fight against those who fight against I. Take hold of shield and buckler and stand up. Rise up for mine help, and in my help draw out also the spear and the battle axe to stop the way of those who pursue and falsely prosecute. I say to my soul, my psyche, Yeshuatech, ani, the I, salvation, I. Yes, I. Let them be confounded and put to shame that seek after my soul. Let them be turned back and brought to confusion that devise my hurt. Yeboshu, we ye kalmu, me bakashe nafshi, ye sogu achora, we yachit perua choshve raati. those who seek my ra'ati, my hurt, those who seek evil upon I. Let them be ashamed and brought to confusion. The sense of this. Yeboshu, let them be abashed, abashed. Yeboshu, with yikalmu, and brought to confusion. Mevakeshe, nafshi, those who seek nafshi, my soul, my psyche. Yisogu ahor. Now here we have that very same, the battle axe to stop the way right there, where it says right here, let them be turned back, let them be turned backward. Yisogu, them being turned ahor backward. With Yachipru choshvei ra'ati. With Yachipru choshvei ra'ati. Let them be turned back and be abashed, and then abased, brought to confusion, right? That seek after and devising my hurt. Let them be ashamed, yeboshu, in the complete triumph which Ha-Elohim, the true good, the true God, will have secured for the persecuted and the falsely prosecuted. He uses stern and relentless language, very cut, and direct language, and straightforward and upright language, but it's not animated by a personal vindictive spirit. This is the key, right? May the words of thy mouth and the meditation of thy heart be humbly acceptable in he who be sight. So although the language, it may be considered stern, may be considered relentless, it's not animated by a personally vindictive spirit, as is clear, it can become clear even in verses 12 to 14 and in verse 19. It is the triumph of righteousness and that vindication of the good over the evil, which he and I and we, which we desire to see consummated and to see fulfilled. So therefore, the firmness of the word, sound, and power. The fifth verse now continues to ride up in the opening appeal for help. Let them, make them be as chaff before the wind, and let the angel of the Lord chase them. Yehiyu k'mota lifnei ruach, u'malaki Yehovah doche. Make them be as a chaff. Yehiyu k'mot as a chaff, as a mot, kamot, Yehiyu, let them become kamot as a chaff. Lifnei ruach, lifnei before ruach, before the wind, before the spirit, the ruach. In this sense, the ruach is the wind. Lifnei ruach, u'malaki Yehovah doche. The angel, the malak. The Mala'aka'u and Mala'aki Yehovah, and the angel of Yahweh, of Jehovah, thrusting them, doche, thrusting them, or in the authorized in the KJV, it has chase them, as chaff. This here we have in Psalm, the first Psalm, around about verse 4, the very first psalm, as a chaff, right, before the wind, before the word, sound, power, a graphic picture of the complete routing, the routing of the enemy, of the hater of she, of the nafshi, of I and I soul. Let their way be dark and slippery. The angel of he who be pursuing them, hot on their pursuit. Yehi darkam choshek wa chalak lakot u'a malaki Yehovah rodafam. Now he's chasing them. Now he's going to pursue them. The malaki Yehovah, the angel of Jehovah, is going to pursue them. And let their way be dark and slippery. And the angel now things turned around on them. So we have the image of the dark and slippery. Let their way be dark and slippery. The way this false, astray, and evil way, let that be what's dark and slippery to them. Because now the consequences, right, the consequences of their evil action is being turned around on them right here, even in these verses, bring forward the word sound of the Malaki Hawa, the angel of Jehovah, right? That angel, the message, the messenger, even this message of salvation. Yehi darkam choshek. Yehi, and let it be darkam, their derek, their way, choshek, the choshek, disilluminated. Wa chelak alakot. And make it chalak, make it slippery for them. Chosheka wa chalak, dark, disilluminated, no light, and slippery. Arithmetically speaking, it's like the black ice. Malaki Hoa Rodafam, and the angel of Jehovah pursuing them. The tables are turned. See, in Jeremiah, Jeremiah chapter 23 and 12, we have this phraseology, which is a language similar to even Jeremiah, dark and slippery. In their panic to escape, they will abandon the roads and paths and flee down slippery slopes, slide in the way, the slippery slope of the hills, dark and disilluminated by the overhanging trees. This is one of the kind of word picks that we get from this word sound power right here. Moving on to verse 7. For without cause, why is such stern and strong language being used? In today's daily psalm, the Lamed Hey, the 35th psalm. For without cause have they hid for me their net in a pit, which without cause they have digged for my soul. Ki chinam, for without cause, for nothing, for no reason, no cause. Ki chinam, amnuli, shachata rishtama chinam, haflu li nafshi. For without cause, ki chinam, have they hid for me the pit. They've hid for I, the pit, even their net, without cause. Chinam, without cause, have they digged for my soul. The key word here, chinam, without cause. Chinam. Robeinu says, not be angry against your brother without cause. Some people say, if you have cause, I say, listen to Robeinu, not to them. Let's understand this in the context, a repeated phrase that explains the state of his mind, and also the content of his prayer, and I prayer. It's not malice, but it's righteous indignation is his motive. It was without cause. You know, did you do them something? It's just their evil, bad mind. It's without cause. So thus, it is only righteous to have such righteous indignation. He's given us the reason. This is the reason. For without cause have they hid for me the pit, even their net. Without cause have they digged for my soul. For my soul. Let destruction come upon him unawares, and let his net that he hath hid catch himself. With destruction let them fall therein. So he said, let them get the consequences of their own action. That which they were seeking to do to my soul, let the consequences fall upon them. That is only right and just. Even HaTorah, the spirit and the truth of the word, speaks of saying, make destruction come upon him at unawares. Here in verse 8, Tivoehu, Shoah, Lo Yeda'a, Where Rishtoah Aman, Tia Likado, Bit Shoah, Yipal Ba, that they have hid, let them fall, let that destruction with destruction, Bishoah, the Shoah, Bishoah, Yipal Ba, with destruction, let him fall therein. With destruction, into that very destruction, the same destruction. Let destruction come upon him at unawares. He's not calling out just some destruction just to destroy someone he don't like. No, he's saying that this is what they have designed, this is what they have hidden, this is what they are digging for my soul. Let them eat of it. Let it be for them, John. And that is only righteous, John. And John's words say, yea, and I. The saints say yea and amen. It's not motivated by vindictiveness, but by righteousness. Into that very destruction, let him fall. Remember, without cause? The pit, remember the pit? Even their net? The pit, even their net is without cause. Have they hid for me the net that I should be caught therein, their traps? And they have digged the pit for my soul. See, if you already know what or where the soul is, you and I recognize what does it profit a man to gain the world and to lose his very soul? For my soul they have, against my soul they have done this, that I should fall into it. This is undoubtedly the sense of the verse, right? That's why it says upon him. See, the singular may point, some say, because of the circumstances of the song, to the chief enemy, Shaul, Saul, more probably to his opponents collectively, all of them as one man, Verse 9, picking it up, and my soul, by such righteous judgment. In verse 9 of today's daily psalm, Psalm 35 and 9, it says, and my soul shall be joyful in Hashem, joyful in Jehovah. And she, in other words, shall rejoice in his salvation. She shall rejoice. It says it here, but the context of it, all right? With nafshi, tagil, b'Yehovah, tasisa, b'yeshuato, in his Yeshua, in his victory, in his salvation. And she shall rejoice in his salvation. B'shuato, Yeshua, b'shuato, in his victory, in his salvation. And my soul shall be joyful. With nafshi, tagil b'Yehovah, tasis, and rejoice, tasisa b'shuato. All my bones shall say, Lord, who is like to thee, I, which deliverest the poor from him that is too strong for him. Yea, the poor and the needy from him that spoileth him. This verse here, verse 10. Kol ha'atzmotai, tomar na Yahuwah mi kamoka, matzil ani yamei chazaka mimenu, ve'ani ve'evyon mi yagozlo. A beautiful verse right here. All my bones shall say, Kol atzmotai, call all atzmotai, all my bones are tomar na Yahuwah mi kamoka. Who is like to thee, I, O he who be who he be? Matzila ani yamei chazaka mimenu, who delivereth the poor from him that is too strong. That is too strong for him. With ani, with evyon, miya gozlo. Yea, the poor and the needy. With ani, with evyon, with ani, with evyon, the ani and the evyon. With ani, with evyon, mi gozlo, from him that spoileth him. My soul shall be joyful. Have no need to doubt to whom he and I we is indebted for that escape. All my bones, in addition to the moral satisfaction, which is soul, the nefesh, will and does enjoy that victory of good over evil, there will be a grateful sense of relief throughout his bodily frame, that health. You know, the connection, the psycho-spiritual, the psycho-phi-cycle connection. The poor, the afflicted, the poor and needy. These are the terms that are often linked together because justice was and is commonly perverted and twisted through bribes that's given to judges and different ones who are supposed to be in the business of justice and rulers by those rich. They say the best justice in Babylon is the one that money buys. So that's the words here, first 10 verses in the appeal for help, the appeal for help, 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 for help.
Yikumun Aidei Hamas
Asher lo yada'iti. Yishaluni. They ask of me. They ask of me things I don't know. Asher lo yada'iti. Yishaluni. Who? False witnesses. False witnesses did rise up. Yikumun Aidei Hamas. Aidei Hamas. The Aidei Hamas. Literally in the Hebrew, witnesses Aidei Hamas. Witnesses of violence. They give false testimony to aid the unlawfulness of the persecutor and the false prosecution against the righteous. KJV brings out false witnesses did rise up, and this is true Hebraically. Yikumun Aidei Hamas. They're not just false witnesses. Aidei, the Aidei Hamas, Aidei Hamas, Hamas. Witnesses of violence. Witnesses of violence, unrighteous witnesses. Some interpret that as unrighteous, but clearly, literally in the Hebrew we have Aidei Hamas. That their false witness is leading to violence. They're witnesses of violence. And they ask me of things I do not know. They ask me. KJV brings out, they lay to my charge things, there's italicized in the King James Version, that I knew not. Or they laid to my charge that I knew not. But bringing it out more from the Hebraics of it all, Asher, those who, right, or that which, lo, not yadaiti, lo yadaiti, no, my knowing, not my knowing, lo yadaiti, yishaluni, they ask, Sha'al, like Shaul, right, Aluni, they ask of me. They lay charges against him, of which he does not know. Lo yadaiti. These ones that yikumun aidei Hamas. Asher lo yadaiti yishaluni. They lay charges against him of which he knows nothing. And they lay charges against Einai, which Einai know nothing of. David had been accused of plotting against Saul's life. This is how far they go with their false witnesses. And if you're plotting against someone's life and people believe that you're plotting against this person's life and they believe that you are the victim, this is also a Aidei Hamas, a witness of violence have rose up, even in contempt of any court that regards righteousness as righteousness, the first principle, that truthfulness. They're not only false witnesses, they are violent witnesses. They lay to him charges that he knows nothing about. Here we have this in 1 Samuel 24 and 10. Verse 12 brings out, they rewarded me evil for good to the spoiling of my soul. They rewarded me what? Evil for good. They repay me evil for good. Now it's interesting because the last word of verse 11, yishaluni. They asked of me. Here in verse 12 we have yishalmuni ra'a tachata Torah shekola le nafshi shekola le nafshi. They rewarded me evil for good to the spoiling. Shechol linafshi, the spoiling of nafshi, the spoiling of my soul, or bereavement. Now, this is an interesting phrase we have here. Bereavement is come to my soul. The good he had done is defined in these next two verses. What is this good that he had done? He said that they had repaying I evil for good. They rewarded I evil for good. Hebraically, we have the shalom here. Right? The true root of what shalom, it says, Yishalamuni. So it's an interesting kind of a turn on a word, as we said from the verse before, where it reads, Yikumun Eidei Hamas, Asher Lo Yadaiti, Yishaluni Ra'a Tahata Tova, Shechola Linafshi. So that Yishaluni and Yishalmuni. So one is Yishaluni and the other is Yishalmuni. So they ask of me and they pay, they reward in that sense. They pay Shalom pay to Shalom, Yishalamuni Ra'a. So what is their Shalom? What is their payment of? It's evil, it's hurt. Ra'a, Tachat, right? Instead of Tova, instead of good. And thus, the consequence of that is Shechol Linafshi, spoiling of my soul. King James Version brings out, but a little more correctly according to the Hebrew, a bereavement. See, the terse Hebrew phrase is a tight Hebrew phrase, Shechol Linafshi, bereavement. Woe to my soul. Bereavement is coming to my soul. It's an exclamation. It corresponds to what ones would say, woe is me, woe is I. Shechol lenafshi, shechol, woe, bereavement. Otherwise, it could be translated as, it is a bereavement. It is a bereavement. It's a spoiling. It's a woe to my soul, lenafshi. Such base ingratitude makes him feel and perceive in the innermost of the innocent as desolate as a bereft mother for the good that he had done, what they had paid him in return, their repayment, right? They're rewarding him of evil, ra'a tachata tova, evil instead of good. But as for I, when they were sick, my clothing was sackcloth. I humbled my soul with fasting, and my prayer returned into mine own bosom. But as for I, wa'ani, bachilotam, lebushi sak, Iyaneti batsom nafshi uatefilati Allah cheki tashu. But as for I, when they were sick, Wani bachilotam in their sickness. But as for I, when they were sick, levushi sak. My clothing was sackcloth. Levushi, sak, enati, humbling, enati, batsom, with fasting, nafshi. I humbled, I afflicted my soul with fasting. Enati, batsom, nafshi. Utefilati, Allah cheki, tashur. And my prayer, may it return to mine own bosom. And my prayer, may it return to my own bosom. And tefillati, my prayer, tefillati, all upon chayki, upon my bosom, Allah chayki, tashuv. Let it return. Sackcloth or sak, levushi, sak. Sackcloth is worn by mourners, also by those who are penitent and repentant. We have Jonah, chapter 3, verse 8. Afflicted my soul with fasting. Enati batsom nafshi. Afflicted my soul, humbled my soul. Afflicted. To afflict the soul is said to be a Hebrew term many times used for fasting. We have it with Leviticus chapter 16, verse 29, and Isaiah chapter 58 and 3. Now, this Hebrew phrase, it well indicates the spiritual aim. What's the spiritual aim of tzom? It says, batsom, enati batsom nafshi. Fasting, tzom.
as the principal source of Chatiyat is the gratification of the bodily appetites. The fast or the Tzom is to demonstrate and manifest to the Chatiyatenya, to the lacker, that man can and is able to conquer all 5 cycle and physical cravings, and that the spirit, the Ruach, can always master the body. So his thoughts were so completely for the welfare of the attackers when they were Bachelotam, when they were sick, for the attackers, that when they had in the past been in distress, that he acted as though he had been praying on his own behalf. Thus we have the wording, and my prayer, utifilati, and my prayer, may it return into my own bosom. One bringing out of the phrase, KJV says, and my prayer returned into mine own bosom. Al chayki tashuv, k're'ah, k'achli, k're'ah, k'achli, like a friend, like a brother, as a friend, as a brother to me. K're'ah, k'achli, hita halakati, ka'evela ema kodera shachoti. I behave myself as though he had been my friend or brother. I bow down heavily as one that mourneth, or his mother, as one that mourneth mother. So here in the 14th verse it says, K're'ah, K're'ah, K'ach, like a friend. K're'ah, K'ach, like a brotherly, like a friend, like a brother to me. Hita halakati, ka'evel la'ein. I behave myself as one that's mourning, ka'evel la'ein, or koder, bowing down, shachoti, bowing down myself and mourning heavily, like I was mourning for my own mother. See, when he says, may it return into my own bosom, the proof of his sincerity, he asked that what he had prayed for them, for the haters, the attackers, when they were sick and when they were in distress, may it come to him, because he had gone about already. He had gone about, he had behaved himself. He had gone about. I went about as though it had been like it was like my friend, like a friend or a brother for me. I bowed down mournful, as one that mourneth mother. That mourneth mother. It doesn't say his mother, but the implied sense, ka'evel la'ein. Hita halachti ka'evel la'ein, koder shachoti. He adopted the outward forms even of mourning that consisted of neglect and negligence of even personal appearance, either not washing, not trimming, not taking care of himself, as we have in 2 Samuel 19 and 25. 2 Samuel 19 and 25 brings that out as well. When I halted, but in mine adversity, they rejoice and gather themselves together. Yay. The abjects gather themselves together against me. And I knew it not. They did tear me and cease not. But when I halted, they rejoice. Uves alii, Samchu, Uves alii, Samchu, ne esafu, ne esafu alaya, nechima lo yadaiti, karu, lo damu, and they didn't cease, they didn't stop. See, when I halt, when I was in adversity, when I stumbled, when I was likely to fall, that's when they gathered themselves together. That's when they plotted. That's when they set about their plots. Uvetzai, Samchu, they were happy. When they safu and gathered themselves, ne'esfu alaya nekim. They gathered themselves together against the abjects, and those whom I know not. They gathered themselves together against I, and I did not even know that they will gather themselves. Lo yadayati kar'u. They tear me, they tear with law damu. They tear and they don't stop tearing. Tearing at my character, tearing at my reputation, my name, lying on me. The Hebrew here, the abjects. I don't know. They gather against me, smiting me unawares, like they're hitting me. They're tearing at me. And they don't stop. Now the Targum or the Targum brings out who smite me with their words, rightly understanding that the attack is a campaign, it's a slander. It's a slander campaign. They tear me. Their libelous tongues. They don't say allegedly. Their libelous tongues are like the fangs of a beast of prey, chopping and tearing his reputation and I reputation to shreds. And these, recall, are the same ones that heartily he humbled himself in prayer and fasting and mourning when they were sick, when they were in trouble. And these are the same ones now when I halted. But in mine adversity, they were happy. They rejoiced over Salai, Samhu, with a Safu, and they gathered themselves together. Yea, the abjects. They gathered themselves together against I, and I knew it not. They did tear my reputation to shreds, and they didn't cease with hypocritical mockers in feasts. They gnashing and chewing upon me with their teeth. This is real. It's real. B'hanafei la egeya ma'og, with the profanous mockeries of backbiting. B'hanuni la egu la'ag, haroka alai shinemo. Haroka alai shinemo. They gnash at me with their teeth. Haroka alai, upon I. Shinemo, their teeth chewing upon I. They talking their lies with the profanous mockeries of backbiting, with hypocritical mockers in feast. B'hanfe la egeya ma'oz. Or an alternative reading of this 16th verse in the Hebrew is B'hanuni la egu la'ag. So we have here B'hanfe la ege ma'oz, or B'hanuni la egu la'ag. Haroka alai shnemo. They gnash upon I with their teeth. The mockers. See, the Hebrew is said to be really archaic here, somewhat obscure. Literally, this is an interesting verse here, verse 16. As profane men, mockers for cake. As profane men who are mockers for cake. B'hanfe la ege ma'oz. As profane men, hypocritical mockers. B'hanuni la egua la'ag. Profane men, mockers for cake. See, the comparison here can be explained with the buffoons, the coons and buffoons. Stephen Fletcher, nigger penny coons and buffoons, right, who indulge in ribald jesting and I'm just Joe King, to earn a meal. These coons and buffoons, right? He describes them as unprincipled men. They don't have no principle. Who, in order to curry favor with Shaul, right? They make play of the righteous good name, and thereby they abet, right, the king or Shaul, the wrong king's plan to destroy the right king, the righteous king. But I thought it was interesting looking at the Hebrew, going into some of the Hebrew studies and just giving an overview. It has a sense of profane men, mockers for cake, right? We have the KJV that brings out hypocritical mockers and feasts. That's the sense of profane men, mockers for cake. So they lie and slander. This is how they eat. And so literally they do eat, right, upon the righteous, right, by their mockeries, their slander, in order to curry a little bit of favor, so they can eat some cake with a little bit of flavor or something like that. This is wicked, right? markets for cake. Cake chasing. It's all clout chasing, the cake chasing. Verse 17, Adonai, kama tireh. Adonai, kama tireh. Kama tireh, Lord. Adonai, how long will thou look on? How long will you look on? Adonai, kama tireh. Hashiva nafshi. Mia shoehem. Mika firim. Yechidati. Rescue my soul from their destructions. Rescue my soul. Hashiva nafshi. Mia shoehem. Me shoehem. From their destructions. Mine only one from the lions. My darling, rescue my soul from their destructions. My darling, from the lions. From the lions. Mikafarim. Mikafarim. Yechidati. Yechidati. My darling, my only. Look on. How long will you just look on? Adonai, kama tireh. Kama tireh. Adonai, kama tireh. Kama tireh. Without intervening. Rescue my soul. Hashiva nafshi. Hashiba nafshi. Rescue, deliver my soul. We have this also in Psalm 19, round about verse 8. Mine only one. Yechidati. Mine only one. Soul. Psalm 22, 21. The lions. Interesting phrase right here. Mikafarim. 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 The Kafarim, the lions. His enemies who acted like wild beasts, not as men, but as lions. We have this also in Psalm 57 and 5. Now, bringing it right here to complete this second section. Right, the second section is like the second session within the court, within this court appeal right here in today's daily psalm. Here we have verse 18. Odeka, dik ahal rav be'am, atzum ehaleleka. Odeka, dik ahal rav be'am, atzum ehaleleka. I will give thee thanks, Odeka. Odeka, I will give the eye thanks. Odeka. Bik ahal rav. Bik ahal rav is a great aggregation, congregation, the ahal that called out assembly, so the church in the wilderness. Bik ahal rav. Bi'am. Bi'am. Amongst the people, atzum, amongst enough people, numerous people, ehaleleka. 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 I will praise eyes as the eye. Ehaleleka. So Odeka, I will thank the eye. Ehaleleka. I will praise the eye. So this second section of the psalm, right, of this petition, you could say of this suit, right, this psalmist suit, right, in the spiritual court, the ieritical court. This second section of the psalm, it ends like the first section. At verse 9, with a declaration of his readiness. He says he's ready to proclaim God's salvation in the event of his foes being overthrown. He knows that they're ratchet, they're wrong, but he calls out, he says, Adonai, Adonai, how long will you look on? Kama tireh, hashiva nafshi, mi yashoehem, mi kafrima yechidati. Odeka bikaharav be'amatzum ehaleka. I will give eyes to the eye. Yes, I. Rastafari.
Yes. Somebody say court. In court, a lawsuit, a Torah suit right here. Today's daily song. Yes. La zona blanca.
Fabulous.
Righteous versus the wicked, yeah?
Oh, yeah. All rise. Court is now in session. All right. The guilty must be exposed. All rise. Court is now in session.
So here for today's Daily Psalm, Psalm 35. We have verses 19 to verse 28, the final plea right here in this court of Yah's justice right here that Dawid brings forward in today's Daily Psalm. We're going to pick up the מצורע and also the prepping for Pesach, the Aliyot coming after this right here as we're going into the third hour. Looking forward to the new Shabbat, so Shabbat Tov right here, but after the Shabbat reflections here, the Aliyot coming forward after this right here, Shema Yisrael.
So just as there's different sessions in the court case or like a court dispute, like a legal dispute, we have this also today's Daily Psalm, the Lamed Hay Psalm, the 35th Psalm, according to Royal Order of the Ethiopian Hebrews, and here after the Order of Malachiah Tzedek. We pick up with verse 19 to 28, the final plea. In the court, how do you plead? So the case has already been made in the first two parts. The first 10 verses we had as the appeal, like the appeal for help. And then we had the second session, the wickedness, the ratchetness of the enemy. The previous session of this psalm right here, verses 11 to 18, outlines the wickedness, the ratchetness of the haters. Right? And these are not objective, but they are subjective haters. Get into that. And the psalm even brings it out, other psalms as well, that the Hebrew psychology right here. But here we have, as in the court case, even the very first verse, that pleading, that striving with those who strive against God, pleading with those who plead. They're making false charges, laying false charges, lies, lying witnesses, witnesses of violence, digging pits, right? And these are the same ones who David had from the heart prayed for and mourned for and hoped and prayed for their goodness, and they returned to him such ratchet evil. So here now his final appeal. Picking up here with verse 19, his final appeal. And let's just look at the KJV here. He says, make not them that are mine enemies wrongfully rejoice over me. Neither. Let them wink with the eye that hate me without a cause. So this phrase again, without a cause, unjustifiably. Allah yismechuli oivai sheker sonai chinam yikretzu ayin. Let not them that are wrongfully mine enemies rejoice over me. Allah yismechuli, not to be happy for me, for my fall, for my detriment, for my hurt. Allah yismechuli, not for them to be happy for me. Oivai, my enemy sheker, my lying enemy. Sonai chinam, who hate chinam without a cause. Yikretzu ayin, that wink. Neither let them wink with the eye. Don't let them wink with the eye either. Don't let them wink with the eye that hate me without a cause. Sonaya chinam. So here, wrongfully, mine enemies falsely. Oivai sheker, a lie. Oivai sheker. So they are enemies, they are haters, but they are lie. Even their hatred of Dawid, the hatred of Ayna, the hatred of the righteous is a lie. So that oivai sheker, wrongfully mine enemies, the translator translates it as wrongfully, right? Mine enemies wrongfully, or wrongfully mine enemies, but literally in the Hebrew, mine enemies. Oivai sheker, falsehood. Mine enemies in falsehood, my falsehood enemies, my lying enemies, they have no justifiable grounds for enmity. They don't have any ground for enmity, and so invest
themselves in inventing false pretexts, just more lies and falsehood. Oivai sheker, that wink with the eye. Yikritsu ayin. Yikritsu ayin. They gloat over the success of their schemes. They wink with the eye. It shows in their eyes. The eyes are the window to the soul. They wink with their eyes. Yikritsu ayin. They wink with the eyes. Ki lo shalom yedaveru ve'ala rigaeya aretza divreya mirma yache sovun yache shovun. For they speak not peace. Ki lo shalom, for no peace. Yedaveru, they don't speak peace. Ki lo shalom yedaveru. Ki lo shalom yedaveru, for they speak not peace. Ki lo shalom yedaveru, ve'ala rigae aretza divrei mirmot yache shovun. But they devise deceitful matters against them that are quiet, against those ve'ala rigae aretz, against those who are quiet in the land, the quiet ones in the land, the peaceful ones, to say the quiet ones in the land, the rig'ei aret, divrei mirmot, divrei, words, matters, mirmot, deceptive, deceitful matters, deceitful arguments, stupidness, foolishness, divrei mirmot, yachishovun. This is what they are thinking. This is what they're plotting. This is what they're scheming, right? They're devising, right? Yachishovun, these divrei mirmot. They impute to the innocent and to the peace-loving citizens their own mischievous intentions. So psychologically, this is what the latter-day psychologists call a projection. So the idea of the ratchet, the wicked, projecting, right, imputing to the innocent and the peace-loving citizen, even though the word here says, Ki lo shalom yidaberu. They don't speak peace, but they impute to the innocent and the peace-loving citizens their own mischievous intentions. The divrei mirmot, this is what they devise, and this disturbs the rig'ei aretz, the quietness, the peace of the land and the community, the common unity. Verse 21, Wayarchivu alaya pihem amru he'ach raita aineinu. Yea, they open their mouths wide against me. Wayarchivu alai pihem, their mouths alai against I. Wayarchivu alai pihem amru, and they say he'ach aha raita aineinu. Our eyes have seen it. They say aha we've seen it. They act like they witnessed something. They act like they actually seen something. They open their mouths wide against I and say, aha, our eye, aineinu, our eyes have seen it, as though they are witnesses. They're opening their mouth. The gesture indicative of contempt, the opening of the mouth. They're like, whoa, open their mouth. Isaiah 57:4 also brings up the same idea of the opening of the mouth wide, like as a gesture indicative of contempt. They're in contempt of Jah courts. Or even more specifically here, of malicious rejoicing. Wayarchivu alai pihem amru he'ach raita aineinu raita Yahuwah ala tehrasha Adonai ala tirhaka mimeni. Thou hast seen, the eye has seen. Raita Yahuwah, you have seen, oh he who be, who he be. Keep not silence. Al teherash Adonai, O Lord, O Adonai, Adonai, ala tirchaka mimeni. Don't be far. Ala tirchak, al tirchak. Don't be far. Mimeni, mimeni. Don't be far from I, because the eye has seen. KJV says this, thou hast seen. That's italicized as this, so more forcibly, thou hast seen. O Jah, Jehovah, keep not silence, O Lord, O Adonai, Adonai. Be not far from I. Stir up thyself and awake to my judgment, even to my cause, my God, and my Lord, 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 and my Lord. Ha'ira, 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 ha'ira. Hakitza le mishapati Elohai wa Donai le rivi, and plead for I and I. Once again now, this refers to the opening verse, the opening idea. Saying, rouse the eye, ha'ira, 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 and awake, where ha'kitza, and awake, rouse yourself up, and awake yourself, le mishpati, to my judgment. The psalmist is not imagining that Ha-Elohim, the true good, the true God, is asleep, but he longs and prays for a proof, a token, an evidence that there is indeed Ha-Elohim Ha-Shofet, the Elohim Ha-Shofet, the Elohim who judges in the earth. Only a clear conscience could really prompt such a petition to be adjudged or adjudicated, in that sense, according to the divine righteousness, even to my cause, to my pleading, my striving, even in this cause, my God and my Lord. My God and my Lord. Elohai wa Adonai le'rivi. Elohai wa Adonai le'ribi. Ha'ira ve'ha'kitza le'mishpati. Elohai wa Adonai le'rivi. Shafteni k'tzida k'ka Yahweh. Elohai ve'ala yismechuli. Ve'ala yismechuli. Judge me, judge I. Shafteni k'tzida k'ka. Judge I according to the I righteousness. Shafteni k'tzida k'ka Yahweh. Elohai wa'ala yismechuli. Wa'ala yismechuli. Judge me, O Lord my God, according to thy righteousness, and let them not rejoice over me. Once again, the petition is for them not to have no joy over I. Wa'ala yismechuli. He says, Shafteni. Judge I according to thy, execute justice on my behalf, according to the I's righteousness. Not according to my righteousness, but according to the I's righteousness. K'tzida k'ka Yahweh. More on this in Psalm 31, round about verse 2. Let them not rejoice over I, because that would mean, if they rejoice over I, that would mean the triumph of evil. And his confidence is in the victory of good over evil. So don't let them rejoice. Let them not say in their hearts, aha, we have our desire. Let them not say that we have swallowed him up. Al yomru v'levam he'ach nafshenu al yomru bila enuhu. We swallowed him. Don't let them say al yomru bila enuhu. Don't let them say they swallowed him. speaking of I and I and I, we said lies in there. Let them not say in their hearts, aha, he'ach, so would we have it. Let them not say, we have swallowed him up. Let them not say, but let them be ashamed and brought to confusion together that rejoice at my heart, my hurt. Those who want to rejoice at my hurt or my wrong, let them be ashamed and brought to confusion. Let them be clothed with shame and dishonor that magnify themselves against me, that magnify against I. Yeboshu, with Yachid Perua Yachidal. Semechi Ra'ati. Yelibishu Boshet. Yelibishu Boshet. May they be clothed with Boshet, abashment, Boshet. Yelibishu Boshet. Ukalima Hamagadelim Alai. Hamagadelim Alai. And let them be ashamed and abashed together that rejoice at my hurt. Let them be clothed with shame and confusion that magnify themselves against I. See, the plea of verse 4 is repeated here and elaborated on. In Psalm 40, round about verse 15, is also a similar petition. So we have a petition here. The petition is, don't let them, right? Don't let them say in their heart, in their souls, that they have, that they have the desire, that they have swallowed him up, that they have destroyed I and I completely. Let them be ashamed and abashed together that rejoice at my hurt. Because they rejoice upon my hurt. So don't let them be happy, but they rejoice over the hurt, so let them be ashamed and abashed and abased. Let them be clothed with shame and confusion that magnify themselves against me. Let them shout for joy and be glad that delight in my righteousness and my righteous cause. Let those who delight in my cause shout for joy. May those who delight in my righteousness be glad. Yes. Let them say continually, magnified be he who be his divine majesty, who delighteth in the peace, in the shalom of his servant. Yaron yismechu chafetzei tzidki yomru atamida yigdal Yahuwah. Shalom avdo, and take his pleasure and delight. Let them shout for joy and be glad that favor my righteous cause. Yes, yea. Let them say continually. Let them say all the time. Yomru tamid yigdal Yahuwah chafetz shalom avdo. Let them say continually, all the time, he who be, Yahuwah, Jah, Jehovah, be magnified, which have pleasure in the prosperity, which is the peace, the prosperity. With Yomru Tamid, and let them say all the time, Yigdal Yahuwah, Chafetz Shalom Avdo, the prosperity, the Shalom Avdo, the peace of his servant. And my tongue shall speak of thy righteousness and of thy praise, thy eyes all the day long. U'elishoni tehigez sidakeka kol hayom tehilateka. Those who delight in my righteousness, be happy, be glad. My vindication. Magnified be the Yahweh, Yigdal Yahuwah, who has demonstrated and manifested his justice and might by humbling the proud, the wicked, the ratchet, arrogant, the peace, the welfare, the shalom, avdo, his servant. He puts forth his own, and I and I must put forth our own experience as a shining example of God's care for the innocent and the righteous. And my tongue shall speak, Ulashoni, Tihiget, Sidakeka, Kol Hayom Tehilateka. My tongue shall speak of thy righteousness, and thy praise. Thy eyes is all the day. Shall speak the same verb as meditate. Meditate upon, even in the first psalm. Meditate, speak on it. Shall speak musingly, and in the low murmur of one entranced by a sweet, idleful thought. Thy righteousness, Sidak Ekah, thy righteousness, his salvation, his victory, is proof that Jah is a just judge all the day. Kol Hayom, all the day, right? All the day thy praise. Kol Hayom Tehilateka, Kol Hayom, unceasingly. All the day, 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 all.
מזמור למ"ה לדוד. ריבה אדוני את יריבי, לחם את לוחמי. החזק מגן וצינה, וקומה בעזרתי. והרק חנית וסגור לקראת רודפי. אמור לנפשי, ישועתך אני. יבושו ויקלמו מבקשי נפשי. ייסוגו אחור ויחפרו חושבי רעתי. יהיו כמוץ לפני רוח, ומלאך אדוני דוחה. יהי דרכם חושך וחלקלקות, ומלאך אדוני רודפם. כחינם תאמנו לי שחת רשתם, חינם חפרו לנפשי. תבואהו שואה לא ידע, ורשתו אשר תמן תלכדו, בשואה ייפול בה. ונפשי תגיל באדוני, תסיס בשועתו. כל עצמותי תאמרנה, אדוני מי כמוך, מציל עני מחזק ממנו, ועני ואביון מגוזלו. יקומון עדי חמאס, אשר לא ידעתי ישאלוני. ישלמוני רעה תחת טובה, שכול לנפשי. ואני בחלותם לבושי שק, עיניתי וצום נפשי, ותפילתי על חיקי תשוב. כרע כאח לי התהלכתי, כאבל אם קודר שחותי. ובצלעי שמחו ונאספו, נאספו עלי נכים ולא ידעתי, קרעו ולא דמו. בחנפי לעגי מעוג, חרוק עלי שינמו. אדוני כמה תראה, השיבה נפשי משואיהם, מכפירים יחידתי. עודך בקהל רב, ועם עצום אהללך. אל ישמחו לי אויבי שקר, שונאי חינם יקרצו עין. כי לא שלום ידברו, ועל רגעי ארץ דברי מרמות יחשבון. וירחיבו עלי פיהם, אמרו האח האח, ראתה עינינו. ראית אדוני אל תחרש, אדוני אל תרחק ממני. העירה והקיצה למשפטי, אלוהי ואדוני לריבי. שופטני כצדקך אדוני אלוהי, ואל ישמחו לי. אל יאמרו בליבם האח נפשנו, אל יאמרו בלענוהו. יבושו ויחפרו יחדיו שמחי רעתי, ילבשו בושת וכלימה המגדילים עלי. ירונו וישמחו חפצי צדקי, ויאמרו תמיד יגדל אדוני החפץ שלום עבדו, ולשוני תהגה צדקך, כל היום תהילתך.
ברוך אתה אדוני.
Rastafari. Rastafari.
Blessings of the Torah before the Torah portion reading in the Hebrew and English tongue. Baraku et Yahweh Hambarak. Baruch Yahweh Hambarak. Leolam vayeh. Baruch atah Yahweh Eloheinu melech haolam asher bekarbeinu mebal hamayim venutan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Yahweh noten ha-Torah. Bless Yahweh, the Blessed One. Blessed is Yahweh, the Blessed One, for all eternity. Blessed are you, Yahweh, our Almighty, King of the universe, who selected us from all the peoples and gave us his Torah. Blessed are you, Yahweh, giver of the Torah.
Mount Zion, to be following the light of the Lamb and the Lion, the most holy one, the Father and the Son. Read it in the Old and the New Testament. Me are telling you, read up your Bible.
Baruch atah Adonai.
Rastafari.
Are ye not as children of the Ethiopians unto me, O children of Israel, O children of Israel?
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Adonai Echad, Adonai Echad.
Shabbat Shalom, Sendet Salam, Shabbat HaGadol, Shalom, Sendet Talak, Salam, Talaku, Salam. This Torah portion reading and feeding here, we have the 28th reading from HaTorah, Jah directions, instructions, and it's called in the Hebrew, Masoretic, the Mitzora, Mitzora. More properly in the Royal Amharic here, Lemtsamu, Lemtsamu. Previously we had called it Bementzatu, and focusing on the day of cleansing. So Mitzora, Mitzora, Lemtsamu, Lemtsamu. We've updated that, was in the chart as well. Slika, Yikitane, but as we are growing in grace and that knowledge, just makes that very clear right here for the Aliyah, for the Anaphora, right, for the word, sound, and power for this Torah portion, reading and feeding, the 28th and I yearly cycle of Rastafari sabbatical studies, and here for this Shabbat strong, Shabbat HaMitzorah, the Sabbath of the leper, also known as Shabbat HaGadol, Shalom. So here the 28th reading from the Torah Mitzorah. The word means leper, HaMitzorah, the leper, Lemtsamu. The one that is in the natural type skin disease, but we connect that with the Lashon Hara'ah, right, with the speak of evil speak of gossip, rumor, tale bearing, which diseases the community. Now, the word that appears in the second verse of the reading for this parsha, which says, this shall be the law, the Torah of HaMitzorah in the day of his cleansing, Bementzatu, and here in Leviticus chapter 14, verse 2. So Leviticus 14, it basically spells out the complex purification rites and ritual for the cleansing of a mitzorah, a leper, a motzi ra'ah, and a leprous home, a leprous house, a leprous bait. Now, Leviticus chapter 15, it briefly covers the Torot, or the laws, direction, instructions regarding ritual unfitness that stems from bodily emissions or issues, from the body. Now, except in biblical calendar leap years, and we're in the leap years here, Mitzorah is usually read together with the previous Torah portion, Tazariah, on the same Shabbat. But here in this year, this particular time, in this season, the reading and the reasoning. What's the reason for the season, Chabarim? So here, to ride up with this Torah portion for the Shabbat HaGadol, the Shabbat HaGadol, the Shalom, Sendet Talaku, the great, the big Sabbath, Shalom. So here, picking up the Hebrew first words, and the first word here, Beshem Ha'ab, We'Habein, We'Ruach HaKadosh, Yahweh Echad, in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, He who be, who He be, the one. So here, picking up with the Kaf Chet, the 28th, reading and feeding, the manna for this Shabbat here, picking up with the third book of Moses, the Hebrew book that's called Leviticus chapter 14, chapter XIV, the Yod Dalet chapter. Why daberi Yahweh, why daber Yahweh el Moshe lemor, Zota tihye Torah HaMitzorah, B'yom Taharato, W'huba il HaKohen. Here, picking up third book of Moses, Hebrew book called Leviticus, the Sefer Vayikra, chapter 14. A holy, a set apart Elohim, true good, true God, a holy and Isla, a set apart people. Fourth item right here, Ha-Torah, the Orit, the direction, instructions of Lemtsamu, of the Mitzorah, of the leper's cleansing. And the Yahweh, He who be, who He be, HaKadosh, Baruch Hu, Baruch Hashem. Holy One, blessed be He, blessed be the name, spake to Moshe, saying, why daberi Yahweh, why daber Yahweh la Moshe lemor, this Zot Tihyeh, this shall be Zot, this she, this Tihyeh, this shall be Torah, this shall be the law, the direction, the instruction, the Torah HaMitzorah, the law of the leper in the day of his cleansing, B'yom Taharato. He shall be brought to the priest.
Huba il ha-kohen. And ha-kohen and the kahin, the priest, shall go forth out of the camp, and ha-kohen, the kahin, the priest, shall look, and hine, and look in sight. Here it is. If ha-nega, if the plague, if the nega, if the plague of leprosy, of tzara'at, of skin disease be healed in ha-mitzorah, in the leper, then shall ha-kohen, the kahin, the priest, command to take for him that is to be cleansed 2 birds, alive and clean, and cedar wood and scarlet and hyssop, and ha-kohen, the kahin, the priest, shall command that one of the birds be killed in an earthen vessel over running water, over living water. As for the living bird, he shall take it, and the cedar wood, and the scarlet, and the hyssop, and shall dip them and the living bird in the blood hadam of the bird that was killed over the running water, over the living water. And he shall sprinkle upon him that is to be cleansed from the tzara'at, from the dewe, skin disease, leprosy 7 times, and shall pronounce him clean, and shall let the living bird loose into the open fields. And he that is to be cleansed shall wash his clothes, and shave off all his hair, and wash himself in water, that he may be clean. And after that he shall come into the camp, and shall tarry abroad out of his tent 7 days. But it shall be on the 7th day that he shall shave all his hair off his head, rosho, his ras, and his beard, and his eyebrows. Even all his hair shall he shave off, and he shall wash his clothes. Also he shall wash his flesh in water, and shall be clean. And on the 8th day he shall take 2 he-lambs without blemish, and 1 ewe lamb of the first year without blemish, and 3/10 deals of fine flour for a meal minka offering, mingled with oil, and 1 log of oil. And on Yom Shemini, the 8th day, he shall take 2 he-male lambs without blemish, and 1 ewe female lamb of the first year without blemish, and 3/10 deals of fine flour for a mincha, a meal offering, mingled with oil, shemen, and 1 log of oil. And ha-kohen, the kahin, the priest, that maketh him clean, shall present the man that is to be made clean, and those thanks lifnei Yahweh, before Jehovah, at the petach, the door of the tabernacle of congregation of the Ohel Moed, the tent of meeting. And ha-kohen, the kahin, the priest, shall take 1 he-lamb, male lamb, and offer him for a trespass offering, an asham, guilt offering, and the log of oil, and wave them for a wave offering, lifnei Yahweh, before the Yahweh, he who be, who he be. And here at verse 13, Chabarim, we have the Sheni Aliyah, the 2nd Aliyah for this Shabbat HaMitzorah, for the Sabbath of the leper, the 2nd Aliyah, the Sheni, here at verse 13. With Shachat et ha-kebetz Bia Mekom Asher Yishachat et ha-chata'at With et ha-olah Bia Mekom ha-kodesh Kia ka-chata'at ha-asham hu la kohen la kodesh kodashim hu. Here for the 2nd Aliyah for this Shabbat HaMetzorah, verse 13. And he shall slay the lamb in the place where he shall kill the sin offering, the chata'at, and the burnt offering, the olah, in the holy place. For as the sin offering, the chata'at, is ha-kohen's, is the priest, the kahin, so is the trespass, the asham, the guilt offering. It is most holy. It is kodesh kodashim hu. Verse 13, and ha-kohen, verse 14, and the priest shall take some of the blood hadam of the asham, the trespass, the guilt offering, and ha-kohen, the priest, shall put it upon the tip of the right ear of him that is to be cleansed, and upon the thumb of his right hand, and upon the great toe of his right foot. And ha-kohen, the kahin, the priest, shall take some of the log of oil and pour it into the palm of his own left hand. And ha-kohen, the kahin, the priest, shall dip his right finger in the shemen, in the oil that is in his left hand, and shall sprinkle of the oil, the shemen, with his finger 7 times, lifnei Yahweh, before the Yahweh. And of the rest of the shemen, ha-shemen, the oil that is in his hand, shall ha-kohen put upon the tip of the right ear of him that is to be cleansed, and upon the thumb of his right hand, and upon the great toe of his right foot, and upon the toe of the great toe of his right foot, upon ha-dam, the blood of the trespass offering, the asham, the guilt offering, and the remnant of ha-shemen, the oil that is in ha-kohen's yad, in the priest's hand, he shall pour upon the rosh, the ras, the head of him that is to be cleansed. And ha-kohen, the kahin, the priest, shall make an atonement, kaper, for him, lifnei Yahweh, before Jehovah. And ha-kohen shall offer the sin offering, the chata'at, and make a kaper, an atonement for him that is to be cleansed from his uncleanness. And afterward he shall kill the olah, the burnt offering. And ha-kohen, the kahin, the priest, shall offer the olah, the burnt offering, and the mincha, the meal offering, upon ha-mizbeach, the altar. And ha-kohen, the kahin, shall make a kaper, an atonement for him, and he shall be clean. And here, chabarim,
Are ye not as children of the Ethiopians unto me? O children of Israel, O children of Israel.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Elohenu, Adonai Echad.
And here, chabarim, is the shalishi, the third aliyah for this Shabbat HaMetzorah, here picking up with verse 21 for the shalishi. We'i madalahu, we'ena yado, masageta, we'lakach, kevetza echad, asham, lita nufa, likapera alayo, Isarona soleta echad, ba lula, ba shemen, minaha, we loga shemen. And if he be poor, if he be poor and cannot get so much, then he shall take 1 lamb for a trespass offering, a guilt offering, and a sham offering to be waived, to make an kaper, an atonement for him, and 1/10 deal of fine flour mingled with shemen, with oil for a mincha, a meal offering, and a log of oil of shemen, and 2 turtle doves, and 2 young pigeons, such as he is able to get, and the one shall be a chata'at, a sin offering, and the other a olah, and he shall bring them on the 8th day, Yom HaShemini, for his cleansing, to HaKohen, to the Kohen, the priest, to the Petach, the door of the Ohel HaMoed, the tabernacle of the congregation, the tent of meeting, Lifnei Yahweh, before he who be, and HaKohen, and the priest shall take the lamb of the Asham, the trespass, the guilt offering, and the log of oil, and HaKohen, the Kohen, the priest, shall wave them for a wave offering, Lifnei Yahweh, before Jehovah. And he shall kill the lamb of the Asham, the guilt offering, the trespass offering, and HaKohen shall take some of Hadam, the blood of the Asham, the trespass, the guilt offering, and put it upon the tip of the right ear of him that is to be cleansed, and upon the thumb of his right hand, and upon the great toe of his right foot. And HaKohen, the Kohen, the priest, shall pour of HaShemen, the oil, into the palm of his own left hand, and HaKohen, the Kohen, shall sprinkle with his right finger some of HaShemen, the oil, that is in his left hand 7 times, Lifnei Yahweh, before he who be, and HaKohen, the Kohen, shall put of the Shemen, the oil, that is in his hand, upon the tip of the right ear of him that is to be cleansed, and upon the thumb of his right hand, and upon the great toe of his right foot, upon the place of the blood, Hadam, of the Asham, the trespass, the guilt offering. And the rest of HaShemen, the rest of the oil that is in HaKohen's hand, he shall put upon the Rosh, the head of him that is to be cleansed, to make an kaper, an atonement for him, Lifnei Yahweh, before he who be. And he shall offer the one of the turtle doves, or of the young pigeons, such as he can get, even such as he is able to get. The one for a chata'at, a sin, a akri, a lack offering, and the other for an olah, a burnt, a holocaust offering, with the mincha, the meal offering. And HaKohen, the Kohen, shall make an kaper, an atonement for him that is to be cleansed, Lifnei Yahweh, before Jehovah. This is the Torah, the law, direction, instruction of him, in whom is the nega al-tzara'at, the plague of leprosy, whose hand is not able to get that which pertaineth to his cleansing. And here, Chabarim, here we are at the Rabi'i, the 4th Aliyah. Here we have the 4th Aliyah for this Shabbat, Mitzorah. Why daberi Yahweh Moshe ve'ela Aharon lemor. Picking up right here with verse 33, Leviticus 14:33, and the Yahweh spake to Moshe and to Aaron lemor, saying, when ye y'all be come into the land of Canaan, which I give to you for a possession, and I put nega, the plague of zara'at, of leprosy, in a beit, a house of the land of your possession. And he that owneth ha-beit, the house, shall come and tell HaKohen, the Kohen, the priest, lemor, say, it seemeth to me there is, as it were a nega, a plague in the beit, in the house. Then HaKohen, the Kohen, the priest, shall command that they empty ha-beit, the house, before HaKohen go into it, to see ha-nega, to see the plague, that all that is in the beit, the house, be not made unclean. And afterward HaKohen, the Kohen, shall go in to see ha-beit, to see the beita, to see the house. And he shall look on ha-nega, on the plague, and he may look, see, here it is, if the nega, the plague, be in the walls of ha-beit, of the house, the beit, with hollow strakes, greenish or reddish,
which in sight are lower than the wall. Then ha-kohen, the kahin, shall go out of ha-beit, the house, to the patach, the door of ha-beit, of the house, and shut up ha-beit, the house, 7 days. And ha-kohen, the kahin, the priest, shall come again the 7th day, and shall look, and look, see, here it is, if ha-nega, if the nega, the plague, be spread in the walls of ha-beit, of the house, then ha-kohen, the kahin, shall command that they take away the stones in which ha-nega, the plague is, and they shall cast them into an unclean place without the city. And he shall cause ha-beit, the house, to be scraped within round about, and they shall pour out the dust that they scrape off without the city into an unclean place. And they shall take other stones and put them in the place of those stones. And he shall take other mortar and shall plaster ha-beit, the house. And if the nega, the plague, come again and break out in ha-beit, the house, after that he have taken away the stones, and after he have scraped ha-beit, the house, and after it is plastered, then ha-kohen, the kahin, the priest, shall come and look, and look, sight, here it is, if the nega, the plague, be spread in ha-beit, the beit, it is a fretting ara'at, a fretting leprosy in ha-beit, in the beta, in the house. It is unclean. And he shall break down ha-beit, the house, the stones of it, and the timber thereof, and all the mortar of ha-beit, the house. And he shall carry them forth out of the city into an unclean place. Moreover, he that goeth into ha-beit, the house, all the while that it is shut up, shall be unclean until the evening. And he that lieth in ha-beit, the house, shall wash his clothes. And he that eateth in ha-beit, the house, shall wash his clothes. And if ha-kohen, the kahin, shall come in and look upon it, and he may look, see, here it is, ha-nega, the plague, hath not spread in ha-beit, the beta, the house. After the house was plastered, then ha-kohen, the kahin, shall pronounce ha-beit, the house, clean, because ha-nega, the nega, is healed. And he shall take to cleanse ha-beit, the house, 2 birds, and cedar wood, and scarlet, and hyssop. And he shall kill the one of the birds in an earthen vessel over running water, over living water. And he shall take the cedar wood, and the hyssop, and the scarlet, and the living bird, and dip them in hadam, in the blood of the slain bird, and in the running, the living water, and sprinkle ha-beit, the bait, 7 times. And he shall cleanse ha-beit, the house, with hadam, the blood of the bird, and with the running, the living water, and with the living bird, and with the cedar wood, and with the hyssop, and with the scarlet. But he shall let go the living bird out of the city into the open fields, and make a kaper, an atonement for ha-beit, for the bait, the house, and it shall be clean.
Are ye not as children of the Ethiopians unto me, O children of Israel, O children of Israel?
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Elohenu, Adonai Echad.
And here, Chabarim, here we have the fifth aliyah. Here we have the 5th aliyah for this Shabbat Mitzorah. We have the Chamishi. Zot ha-Torah lekol nega ha-tzaraat lanatek. This is the Torah, Zotah Torah. This is the law, the direction, the instruction for all manner of the negah. The negah sara'at, the negah, the plague of leprosy and scald. And for the leprosy, the sara'at of a garment and of a bait, a house, and for a rising, and for a scab, and for a bright spot, to teach when it is unclean and when it is clean. This is HaTorah. This is the direction, instruction of Sara'at, leprosy. Third book of Moshe, Moses, Hebrew book called Leviticus. Leviticus chapter 15. A holy Elohim, a set apart, true good, true God, a holy and eyeless set apart people. The fifth item here, the imperative of cleansing. The imperative of cleansing. Point of reference, John's Gospel, chapter 13, verses 3 to 10, Ephesians chapter 5, verses 25 to 27, and 1 John chapter 1, verse 9. Here picking up with the third book of Moshe, Hebrew book of Leviticus, Leviticus chapter 15. And the Yahweh spake to Moshe and to Aharon Lemor, saying, speak to the Bnei Yisrael, speak to the sons of Israel, and say to them, when any man hath a running issue out of his flesh because of his issue, he is unclean, and this shall be his uncleanness in his issue, whether his flesh run with his issue, or his flesh be stopped from his issue. It is his uncleanness. Every bed whereon he lieth that hath the issue is unclean, and everything whereon he sitteth shall be unclean. And whosoever toucheth his bed shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until the evening. And he that sitteth on anything whereon he sat that hath the issue shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until the evening. And he that toucheth the flesh of him that hath the issue shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until the evening. And if he that hath the issue spit upon him that is clean, then he shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until the evening. And what saddle soever he rideth upon that hath the issue shall be unclean. And whosoever toucheth anything that was under him shall be unclean until the evening. And he that beareth any of those things shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until the evening. And whomsoever he toucheth that hath the issue and hath not rinsed his hands in water, he shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until the evening. And the vessel of earth that he toucheth, which hath the issue, shall be broken, and every vessel of wood shall be rinsed in water. And when he that hath an issue is cleansed of his issue, then he shall number to himself 7 days for his cleansing, and wash his clothes, and bathe his flesh in running living water, and shall be clean. And on Yom HaShemini, on the 8th day, he shall take to him 2 turtle doves, or 2 young pigeons, and come lifnei Yahuwah before the Yahweh to the Patach, the door of the Ohel Moed, of the tent of meeting, the tabernacle of the aggregation, and give them to HaKohen, to the Kahin, the priest. And HaKohen shall offer them, one for a chata'at, a sin, and akri, a lack offering, and the other for an olah, a burnt offering. And HaKohen, the priest, shall make a kaper, an atonement for him, lifnei Yahweh, before he who be, for his issue. And here, Habarim, we're at the 6th. Here we have the 6th, the Sheishi Aliyah for this Shabbat Mitzorah, the Sheishi Aliyah, with Ish
Kiates Eya Mia Menu Shikavata Zara We Rahata Ba Mayim Etakola Besaro with Ameya Ada Ha Arev. 6 Aliyah for this Shabbat Mitzorah. Here picking up third book of Moses, Hebrew book Leviticus 15 at verse 16. And if any man's seed of copulation go out from him, then he shall wash all his flesh in water and be unclean until the evening. And every garment and every skin whereon is the seed of copulation shall be washed with water and be unclean until the evening. The Isha, the woman, also with whom man shall lie with seed of copulation, they shall both bathe themselves in water and be unclean until the evening. And if a woman hath an issue, and her issue in her flesh be blood, she shall be put apart 7 days, and whosoever toucheth her shall be unclean until the evening. And everything that she lieth upon in her separation shall be unclean. Everything also that she sitteth upon shall be unclean. And whosoever toucheth her bed shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until the evening. And whosoever toucheth anything that she sat upon shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until the evening. And if it be on her bed or on anything whereon she sitteth, when he toucheth it, he shall be unclean until the evening. And if any man lie sexually with her at all, and her flowers be upon him, he shall be unclean 7 days. And all the bed whereon he lieth shall be unclean. And if a woman have an issue of her blood many days out of the time of her separation, nida, or if it run beyond the time of her separation, nidat, all the days of the issue of her uncleanness shall be as the days of her separation. She shall be unclean. Every bed whereon she lieth all the days of her issue shall be to her as the bed of her separation, and whatsoever she sitteth upon shall be unclean as the uncleanness of her separation. And whosoever toucheth those things shall be unclean, and shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until the evening. But if she be cleansed of her issue, then she shall number to herself 7 days, and after that she shall be clean.
Are ye not as children of the Ethiopians unto me, O children of Israel, O children of Israel?
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Elohenu, Adonai Echad.
And here, Habarim, here we come to the Shabi'i, the 7th Aliyah for Shabbat Mitzorah. Here at verse 29, the 7th Aliyah, the Shabi'i. Ubayom HaShemini Tikach Laha Sheteya Torim O Shene Bine Yona Wehebia Otama Illa Ha Kohena Illa Patach Ohel Moed. Here for the Shabi'i, the 7th Aliyah. And on the 8th day, verse 29, and on the 8th day she shall take to her 2 turtles, pori, or 2 young pigeons, yona, and bring them to HaKohen, to the patach, the door of the Ohel Moed, of the tent of meeting, the tabernacle of the aggregation. And HaKohen, the priest, shall offer one for a hata'at, a sin, an akri, a lack offering, and the other for a olah, a burnt, a holocaust offering. And HaKohen, the priest, shall make a kaper, an atonement for her lifnei Yahuwah, before Jehovah, for the issue of her uncleanness. And here we have the maftir, Musaf maftir reading right here at verse 31. With he azartem eta bnei Yisrael mia tumatama velo ya mutu betumatama betamam eta mishkani asher betokam. Here for the maftir reading right here, verse 31. Thus shall ye all separate the Bnei Yisrael, the sons, the children of Israel, from their uncleanness, that they die not in their uncleanness. When they defile my tabernacle, when they defile the Mishakani, that is, the Tokam among them. This is the law, direction, instruction of him that hath an issue, and of him whose seed goeth from him, and is defiled therewith, and of her that is sick of her flowers, and of him that hath an issue, of the man and of the woman, and of him that lieth with her that is unclean. And here the fulfillment for this 28th sabbatical, this parsha. Glory be to the word, glory be to the sound, glory be to the power. Glory be to I Father, I King. Glory be to the first power of the Trinity. Shem Yeshua HaMoshiach. בגטאצ'נה, במדחנתאצ'ן ביסוס כריסטוסים. Stay tuned for the Haftarah and the Brita Chadasha Aliyot.
Yes. Shavua Tov. We're going to pick up right here. First day service.
Baruch atah Yahweh, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, vayei olam natei, vatokanu. Baruch atah Yahweh, noten ha-Torah.
Yes. Shavua Tov. Good Shavua. Stay tuned.
Rastafari.
Stay tuned for the Haftarah and the Brita Chadasha Aliyot.
Yes. Haftarah, Brit Chadasha, prophets reading, New Covenant reading, and some reasoning. Coming forward for the first day service. Tune in. Shalom, Chaverim, Shalom.